במידה רבה, המאמצים האלה הצליחו, עדיין הם נמשכים, כן. אני לא יכול להשתתף כרגע בהנחה שלך אם זה כך או אחרת. ואורח מכובד ורצוי כזה, כמובן, בבירורים התקרבו עמדות, היו Secretary of State, Mr. Vance, the Secretary of State's hotel. A conversation was held over the telephone between the President and the Prime Minister in a very friendly manner, and the Prime Minister and the United States President will be meeting each other tomorrow at 8:30 over breakfast at the President's hotel. As far as we were informed, the departure time for the President will be tomorrow at 12. 12 o'clock tomorrow.
Do you have any information on Vance's movements for those?
Pardon?
Secretary of State Vance going separately?
No, we don't know. I think that we are not qualified to answer for the Secretary of State, but we don't know. But we don't. Any more questions? Yes, please.
The negotiations between Israel and the United States at an end now, or do you regard those negotiations still continuing?
Definitely continuing. There's no end and there's no dead end. The talks are continuing, and the talks are related to the points of controversy that came up as a result of some Egyptian positions, namely American proposals that were accepted and approved by Israel at the beginning of this week have not been approved as such in total by the Egyptians, but rather carried some changes, or I would say positions that Israel could not accept.
Dan, let me just follow that. Are you saying that in effect that Israel has reached the limit of its concessions? In other words, there will be no more flexibility on this side regarding those proposals?
I think that we, with regards to flexibility, it was definitely, Israel was the flexible side all the way. And with regards to limits, I would say that definitely we, I think, reached a very far point by accepting, approving the new American proposals of the beginning of last week. But still we hope, to me, that more progress will be attained. I would add by saying that so far considerable progress has been recorded on certain issues, while more progress hopefully is expected on others which are still regarded as controversial points or serious matters as far as Israel is concerned.
How impossible that we'll get an agreement on this trip?
This is a question that can answer what kind of agreement they're looking for. If you're looking for a peace treaty per se, you have to take into consideration that in Israel we have our own parliamentary process, governmental and parliamentary process, which means that any agreement of that kind should go to the motions, cabinet, and parliament.
So are you saying that there are some issues on which no progress has been made?
Not yet.
Not yet. And are these issues that must be resolved before a treaty can be signed?
Correct.
Dan, is it possible we could have a treaty initially?
Sorry.
Could we have a treaty initialing, not a signing, but an initialing tomorrow? Or sometime?
I would wait until we conclude the visit, but as I said, the treaty, as far as Israel is concerned, has to go through the motions of cabinet and parliament.
In the progress that was reported today by you and the Prime Minister, were the points of progress made in the questions between Israel and the United States, or the outstanding problems between Israel and Egypt?
Israel and Egypt. No, this was desired by the American Party, and we were honored to extend our hospitality.
The Knesset would go over a treaty before he would apply his signature. Did he also mean by that before he would apply his initials?
It's the same. Yes, I think it's in the works, and we draft. The first draft already been exchanged by the two parties, and this afternoon, actually evening, and we do hope that the final draft, or even the first draft, will be agreeable to both sides, so that we'll be able to issue this joint statement. But at that moment, I'm not in a position to tell you when.
Well, does it look now as if it will be tomorrow when the president leaves rather than tonight?
I would say probably more likely tomorrow rather than today. Yes, please.
Do you consider Mr. Carter's decision to stay this long in Israel pressure on the Israeli government?
No, not at all. Today, tonight, and they'll be continuing tomorrow. And the continuation of the talks as a process, uninterrupted process, as far as we are concerned, will go on upon the decision of two sides as to how to continue and where.
Dan, what is the schedule for tonight?
I repeated, I think that as far as tonight is
Details.
sorry, can you raise the voice?
Your original statement, I think, was that the meeting tonight at 9:30 would be an informal one. Does that mean that they're not part of the negotiations on?
No, they are part of the negotiation, but I say it's formal because there are only two of them. Without, there are no delegation meeting, but secretary and secretary meeting together. But they're definitely part of the process.
Either in Mr. Faden's talks or between the defense ministers of a mutual, or some kind of defense agreement, formal defense treaty.
I don't want to go into specifics again, and it's not to indicate as to whether I support or refute your question.
Discussion about President Carter going home empty-handed, quote unquote. Would you say that major progress has been made on this trip?
I don't know what your definition for empty-handedness, but as far as my definition of empty-handedness, I don't think it applies to this visit.
Questions about?
There's a probability that Cairo may be the destination.
Is any Israeli minister going to Cairo shortly?
Israeli minister?
Yes.
When it will be scheduled, I'll definitely release it in advance. So far, no. I don't know, really, gentlemen of the press, I cannot and I'm not qualified to answer questions that are related directly to the American side.
Mr. Good.
בהסכם ייקבע שיהיו בחו"ל שגרירים בין שתי המדינות בתום השלב הראשון לנסיגת ישראל, ואולי תיכון אוטונומיה תחילה ברצועת עזה. האם אתה מעריך שזה הסכם שלום טוב מבחינתה של ישראל, או לפי להחזיר אותנו למאבק בשתי סיבות? בניית השלום עם מצרים והתהליך הבא, כינון האוטונומיה נמצאים בתהליך שסופו, את סופו נדע רק בעוד 5 לישראל. והאם אתם רואים בדבריו של הנשיא קרטר בכנסת היום חידוש בכל הנוגע למחויבויות של ארצות הברית לישראל? למשל, ציטוט אחד מתוך דבריו, נעמיד את עוצמתנו למדינה של ישראל.
good.